Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. No, I'm just kidding. I really am. But if you get a chance, Tiger King, Netflix, insane. And I miss you guys, and I can't believe this is really happening. But hopefully all of you are safe. Hopefully all of you are taking precautions, and hopefully all of you, your families, are safe as well. So today we are going to be working as part of our arson lab. We are going to be looking at some crime scene evidence. I will send you through the computer, the lab. Basically in this lab, the backstory is that the car was found and it was torched, and they need to know if there was an accelerant used in the fire, again, if it accumulated on the carpet of the front seats, or if it was something that just caught fire and would have been there already. The truck in the, by the way, if you hear crying, that's my dog. He's helplessly searching for his toy right now. But in this particular lab, when you read through it, the truck itself was a diesel truck, and because it was a diesel truck, diesel fuel would be okay to be in this scenario. What we're looking at is the carpet saturated with gasoline or diesel? That would be a big difference. Again, if it's saturated with diesel, we would assume that it came from the truck itself. If it's saturated with gasoline, there really isn't a good reason for a lot of saturation for gasoline. So if you look behind me, as always, I give credit where credit is due. Today is our fire debris analysis. This lab is adapted from a group called CrossCutting Concepts. You can buy this lab through Wards. So any of my teacher friends that are watching this, when you want to do this in class, when we actually go back to school, this is where you would get the lab kit. If you buy the full lab kit, it will give you all the stuff that you need for 3 different runs of each thing, and then the evidence. So YouTube is Tigers Holt 1, TikTok is Eslyn Holt, Twitter is @TigersHolt1. So, and again, we're talking about fire debris today, so I wanted to make sure we had our little fire debris sun. So today, if you notice too, I'm wearing goggles instead of wearing just my regular glasses. We're going to be breaking some glass tubes, and I don't want anything to fly up in my eyes. It's a safety thing. I also have on gloves because some of this stuff has chemicals in it, and we don't want to get anything on our skin. I also have my jacket on, by the way. I have on my Not All Heroes Wear Capes for Dr. Acton, who has done a wonderful job leading our state in how to handle this crazy crisis. So, looking at what we've got here, I have one jar that is gasoline. So I don't know if you guys can see that. That one's the gasoline. And so I know that's a gasoline sample. I have one jar that's a known diesel fuel sample. Okay? So these are our, as we talked about control and experimentals, these are our control groups that we're going to be able to take a look at. So in order to complete this lab, you have 2 different kinds of colorimetric tubes. And we're going to be using these colorimetric tubes. They're very delicate, and they're made to be broken so that the pieces go inside and out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little glass tube, and I'm going to poke a hole through my gasoline. Okay? So now I've got a hole in the lid. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to take, basically it's a washer, but this is supposed to be my tube breaker. I'm going to go near the tip, and I'm going to break I'm going to break the ends off of these glass tubes. So hold on for a second while I do that. Wow, that's being stubborn. Okay, there's that. And then over here, we're going to cut, or we're going to break open this one like this. So that now I've got an open hole in the tube upwards and at the bottom. Then the way that you put it in is you put it in so the arrow is facing up. So this should be the gasoline going into that hole. Then I'm going to take and put the you'll put the color tube through the lid. The arrow should be pointed towards the outside of the container, which I have. And then I'm going to put around it my putty to keep my tube in place. Now, what I'm trying to measure here is the airspace. It's going to have fumes that come up. Now, in some of these labs too, you could have a situation where you wanted to measure this faster by heating it up, but because we're just going to be doing it in my house and I don't want my house to burn down, yeah, I know I've already almost done that. We're just going to leave the space in. Again, the calorimetric tube is going to change color in the presence of gasoline. Sorry about that little pause there. I had to go get some new gloves. I had a little cut opening on my glove and I didn't want it to be open when I was doing the rest of this. So we've set up the gasoline. It will measure the change in the fumes in the gasoline and it will come up, so it's got the air here, the gasoline there, and again we sealed it tight with our putty to make sure that no air is getting out. We will do the same thing. The diesel collection tubes look very similar, but they detect obviously a different thing. And again, we'll be looking for color changes in these particular tubes. So again, the first thing you do is you'll puncture through the center and make your hole. The second thing you'll do is you'll very gently and away from yourself break the glass so that it's not coming towards your finger but away from your finger. And it's just this tip. It's really kind of hard to do, honestly. Not my easiest thing to do. And then up here, so that you have both ends open. Again, both ends have to be opened in order for this to work. And then what we'll do, again, it has an arrow on it that shows me where it needs to go. I put it down into the airspace, not directly onto the carpet, but onto the airspace near the carpet so that I can get an accurate reading. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my putty that I've already pre-prepared and I'm going to push the putty around and seal the tube. So now I've got my standard for gasoline and I've got my standard for diesel. The next thing I'm going to do is check my evidence. So each of these are evidence from the particular car accident. They're supposed to represent the carpets that were recovered during this particular car accident. And so now what I'm going to do is one of them, I'm going to set it up to test for gasoline. So I'll get another one of my gasoline colorimetric tubes, not calorimetric. I'm going to take and poke a hole right where the evidence thing should be. So again, poke a hole through the lid. Then I'm going to take and break the ends off the tube just like we've done on the other ones. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble today breaking the ends of this tube. I think it's just been a little bit of a nerve-wracking day. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be the one that tests for gasoline. We're going to put it in so the arrow is facing up. Put it as close to the fibers but not touching the fibers. And we're going to take and put our sealant around it. Make sure it's nice and sealed up. Then we're going to take the last tube. We're going to grab one more of our diesel tubes. And we're going to test the evidence to see. Again, what we're looking for is if there's gasoline there. If there's diesel there, then that probably came from the truck. It's indicated that maybe that could have been a part of the car fire. But if there's a bunch of gasoline there, the truck itself was diesel. It shouldn't have had a bunch of diesel fuel on the carpets and inside. So we poke our hole. Sorry, trying to be extra careful not to break and cut my hands. That would be bad for me today. So there we go. It went nice and easy there. See if I can get this one to go nice and easy. There, that one went. And then we're going to take, again, insert the tube in as such with the arrow facing up. Not touching, but pretty close to measure the airspace around it. And and the concentration of the evaporated stuff in there, and that's how we'll set it up. Now we're gonna have to leave this sit for a day or two and get some readings. So tomorrow when you guys come back, I'll show you the second part, and we'll take a look at our lab and see if our tubes change. Again, if you want to see what the colorimetric tubes look like up close, this is what they look like when we start. So this is the one for gasoline. Notice it kind of has this brownish orangish color. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And again, both sides are sealed. And then if we were looking at what the diesel one looks like before, just so that we understand what an actual reading should look like. The diesel one looks like this. Kind of looks like it has sand on the end. So you guys can see how it's a little darker at one end and on the other end. And again, what we'll do is look at these. They should change color and have a different change in the measurement if there was a presence of one or the other. So what you guys are responsible for is reading through the lab, getting through the pre-lab questions, and completing that part. And then when I come back for video 2, we will take the results and take a look at them. If you guys have any questions about anything we've done so far, or need help or assistance, or you just need to talk to me about something, please feel free to email me. On school email, you use Google Classroom to email me, or you can do a Google Hangout. Okay, so I hope you guys are all well and everything's going okay. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and take care of your family. All right, have a great day, Tigers.